bong. What's up, New York Knicks fans? I am your host for today, Marshall Green, and we have a mailbag where I answer questions that you guys asked about all types of crazy stuff, trade rumors, Obi Toppin and Julius closing games together. But first, go down and like this video if you think the Knicks need to make a trade to make the playoffs. You don't want April and May rolling around and we're not watching the Eastern Conference playoffs and the Knicks aren't in because you didn't like this stupid kid's video on YouTube. So if you think the Knicks need to make a trade to make the playoffs, go down and like the video right now. What's going on, guys? I am your host, Marshall Green, and today we have a Knicks mailbag. And if you want to get on the next New York Knicks Now mailbag, it is an easy two-step process. First step, you got to be a subscriber. So go down right now and hit that big red button, and go down in the comments as well and drop your questions using hashtag Knicks. That way my producer can find the questions and we can get you on the next New York Knicks mailbag. First question on this Knicks mailbag from my guy Knicks Tape 12. Do you think Obi should play more? Him and Randle work well together. I agree. I like the dynamic between Obi Toppin and Julius Randle at the 4 and 5. I think the way that they play together and the two players' play styles really work well together. Randle, you can run the offense through him. He can be the point forward. And Obi, he can be that stretch 5 that offers athleticism on the fast break and can also be somewhat of a rim protector like we've seen so far this season. For me, Obi and Julius should close games together at the 4 and 5. How many times have we seen it where we're going ISO Randle at the elbow to close games, something I'm not a big fan of, but the paint is clogged and there's not enough room for Randle to operate? Well, that problem could easily be fixed if you bring in Obi at the 5, put him in the short corner. He's proved that he can knock down catch and shoot situations. And the fact that, look at these numbers on screen. They show you that when Obi and Julius play together, it is a successful and really productive duo for the New York Knicks. And 106 possessions together, their effective field goal percentage is 59%, which is 98th percentile in the NBA. If you're not good at math or you don't know what that means, it means they're damn good on offense as a unit when Julius Randle and Obi Toppin are on the floor together. They get easy shots, they get easy dunks in the paint, and they get out on the fast break they make shots and they're effective on the fast break. This offense moves much better when Julius and Obi are on the floor. What about defense? A lot of people say Julius isn't a good defender. Obi can't play the 5. He gets stuck in pick and rolls, and he's not a good switcher. What about this? Their defensive effective field goal percentage, 46.2, which is 97th percentile in the NBA. Pretty much letting you know, when these two are on the floor together, the Knicks are playing some of their best basketball, no doubt about it. So sound off for me. Get your votes in. Should Obi and Julius play more together? If you think they should, go down in the comments and type your Y for yes. If not, go down and type your N for no. This next question coming in from Dennis Patrick. He asks, Mitch, Noel, Gibson are not starting centers. They are good backups, and Thibs doesn't want to play Sims. I like Sims. I like what I've seen from him. Any suggestions via trade or free agency to fix this problem? I think there's a guy that I have in mind that I'll let you know about in one just quick second. But first, I want to look at what these three guys have done so far through the 2021 NBA season. Some things have been not good enough. Some things have. I mean, with Mitchell, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get an athletic, rim-running big that sometimes makes dumb plays like he did at the end of the Nets game where he had the costly foul that essentially cost the Knicks the game. Then what about Nerlens Noel? He hasn't played in many games this season. He's averaging just 4 points per game, not really something he's strong at, but he is averaging 1.4 blocks. He is a great defensive center that when he gets stuck in a pick and roll situation, he can switch on to guards and defend at an elite level around the perimeter. Taj Gibson, he's Taj Gibson. He's going to give you those rough and rugged minutes. He's a Thibs player. He kind of embodies what New York Knicks basketball is all about. You can put him in there. He'll be good around the rim. He can get you some putbacks. He can get some hard fouls going for you on defense. This is a guy that I think kind of bleeds New York Knicks orange and blue. But about your trade target question, I'll get to that in just one second. But first, I want you guys to answer this for me. Well, it's not really a question, but just get down in the comments and shout out your city. I know, as a diehard New York Knicks fan, born in New York, I'm a Giants fan. I'm our New York Giants host here at Chat Sports. I bleed Knicks orange. And I know Knicks fans are all over the world. And I want to see where you guys are watching from and what city you're repping. So go down right now and shout out your city. For me, if I were to target a big, I don't think the Knicks are going to pull the trigger on a trade for a big man. But if I were Leon Rose, I would target Myles Turner. What he's been able to do and the way he's been able to elevate his game and diversify the ways that he's able to put the ball in the hoop has been really impressive. He's shooting about 4 3-pointers per game this year, and he's knocking them down at a 40% clip. What he did to the New York Knicks earlier this season when he banged in 3 tray balls, that was a gut punch, man. It was just like, really, everything he put in, the damn sky arc jumper he has, and it went in. That one hurt as a Knicks fan to see, but he averages just under 13 points, just under 8 rebounds. And another thing that I really like about him, if the Knicks were to trade away a guy like Mitchell Robinson in a pick or something like that, they wouldn't lose a lot of defense. They might actually get better because Myles Turner, last year he led the NBA in blocks, and now he is averaging 2.8 blocks per game and just 28 minutes per game. Myles Turner would be a great piece next to Julius Randle, and he could be the center to close games for the New York Knicks. But let me know, do the Knicks need to make a trade for a big man? If you think they do, go down and type your T for trade. Or if you want them to build from within and let the young guys play and maybe Jericho Sims get some burn, go down and type your S for Stan Pat. As we continue to roll on in this Knicks mailbag, Ronald Lewis, he asks this. If Randle plays like he did last game, I think we will go further in playoffs. Let the game come to him. Hit the open man. Drive hard to the basket. I think you left your caps lock on, buddy. I don't know about you. But Julius Randle, he played really well against the Brooklyn Nets. I almost called them the New Jersey Nets because I don't really think there is no such thing as a Brooklyn Net fan. I mean, if you watch the game, that Barclays Center was dominated by New York Knicks fans. You could hear the defensive chants in the fourth quarter. James Harden spoke with reporters after the game, and he said there was a lot of Knicks fans there. But this is the point. Julius Randle played really, really well against the Brooklyn Nets. One thing I liked about what he did, as he was 11 for 12 from the field, he shot just 2 3-pointers. He noticed the 3-point and the long ball wasn't falling, and he got downhill and attacked the rim. He plays much better when he is under control. When he can take his time at the elbow and get the triple threat going, he is a player that defenses have to game plan for. He can make all the passes that he needs to, but it's just a will of being a passer that I think bothers Julius sometimes, and I hate it when we fall into this hero ball, get the ball to Julius on the ISO, and let him bring the game home for us. This Knicks offense is much better when they play as a unit, when there's ball movement. And I think that's what Emmanuel quickly has added down the stretch. He's taken the ball somewhat out of Julius Randle's hands in the fourth quarter, and I think that's starting to benefit the New York Knicks. But I think you're right. If Randle can play like he did, although he got a tech in the last couple seconds, which kind of cost the Knicks the game against the Nets, if he can play like he did, under control, attack the basket, and get teammates involved, I think this Knicks team can win a playoff series come this summer. When the Knicks make a playoff series and win a playoff series, we will be breaking it down here at New York Knicks Now, because that's what we do. We react to breaking news, and we get videos out within minutes. When Kemba Walker was benched by Tom Thibodeau and out of the rotation, we had a video up within the hour. If you want a one-stop shop for all Knicks news, rumors, anything related to the Knicks, a trade deadline is just around the corner, and trade rumors will start to ramp up, so will our coverage. So go down right now and hit that big red button to join the fam. This next question coming in from New York State of Mind. He asks, should the Knicks play Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes more? I don't really know if there is minutes for them to play more. Miles McBride, he's been going back and forth from the G League to the active roster, but I really like the upside of Miles McBride. I see a little bit of Kyle Lowry in him, that undersized point guard that is a menace on the defensive end and can create his shot in the mid-range area. And he absolutely posterized somebody in the G League the other day. There were some awesome pictures that I know you guys would see. If not, I'll tweet them out and I'll get you my Twitter link later. But I like McBride's upside. I think he can be a floor general and maybe be like a second guard off the bench that can maintain an offense and bring the defensive intensity. And when an opposing point guard is going off, I think he is a guy in a couple years that you could bring in the game and really be a defensive stopper. Speaking of defense, Quentin Grimes, I have loved what I've seen from him on the defensive side. He's a 6'5", 6'6" athletic kid that has an extremely high motor, and those are the type of guys that Tom Thibodeau loves. This is someone that, if you've been watching Knicks games, has been picking up offensive players the whole length of the court, baseline to baseline. And I really love that about Grimes. He has a very high energy level. He has shown at times in the past to be a knockdown shooter. That's somewhere where I want to see him improve more. He hasn't shot the pill too well since joining the Knicks, but his potential on defense and his upside, I think, is extremely high, and I really like what the Knicks did in the draft this year. But who has a higher ceiling in your opinion? Who's going to be a bigger player in the next 5 years for the New York Knicks? Get your votes in. If you think it's going to be Miles McBride, go down in the comments and type MM, or if you think it's going to be Quentin Grimes, go down in the comments and type QG. This next question coming in from Bing Bong, New York Knicks. I love that stuff, man. I love it. Get it in the comments. Go down in the comments right now and type Bing Bong. Go do it. This question: do you think Thibs is the right coach for the Knicks? I do. I really like what Tom Thibodeau has done since he has become the coach of the New York Knicks. Nobody expected, not even me, not even you, don't lie to yourself, you did not expect the New York Knicks to be the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference last year. The Knicks, they achieved by miles. And I think that solely, obviously Julius Randle deserves a lot of credit. He was an MVP candidate last year and had one of the best seasons in New York Knicks history. But what Tom Thibodeau has done, from the culture standpoint to defense to teamness, togetherness, this guy is what keeps this group close. The thing I love about Thibs, he bleeds Knicks blue and orange, and he is proud to be a New York Knicks coach. A lot of guys, they were scared of that spotlight. They didn't want the pressure of MSG and the New York media of being the New York Knicks coach. But Thibs, he's a go-getter, he's a dog, and he wanted this position to show that he could coach and be an elite coach in the NBA again, and he has shown that. He wears New York on his sleeve, and I love everything about him. I love Thibs. Great question, but I do think he is the man for this job. And if you want to follow me on Twitter for more New York Knicks content on your timeline, go ahead and do so. I'm a New York Knicks fan. I bleed New York Knicks blue and orange. My dad was a Knicks fan. His dad was a Knicks fan. It means something in our family to be New York Knicks fans. And just like you guys, if you're New York Knicks fans, you are one of the most loyal people in the world because we have gone through some absolutely terrible times. But hit me up on Twitter and send me a DM so I can shout you out on the next New York Knicks Now.